Whew, well, I didn't think I was going to do a video today, but then I watched Dahmer and I said, I have to do a video on this. I just finished watching Dahmer today. I started watching it, I think yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And, wow. This show is terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Evan Peters deserves an Oscar for this performance. He was this was the most unsettling, creepy horror show I've ever seen. I thought, Joker was unsettling. This was worse. This show was so uncomfortable. I was just looking at it. I just felt so uncomfortable. Especially episode 1. The rest of the episodes I felt really uncomfortable, but episode 1 was the most. Ooh. So this show is about Jeffrey Dahmer. He is a serial killer, American serial killer, that killed 17 gay men, and he's gay himself. He took them back to the apartment and drug them, kill them, and then cut their body parts up and then eat them. Yeah. Pretty fucking sick human being. Jeffrey Dahmer died in 1994, got beaten to death. That's where this show covers all that. I didn't really know much about Jeffrey Dahmer. I heard about him, but I was never really much into his backstory. Serial killers are always, a lot of people say, well, they're really interesting. They are, but they're not at the same time. They're psychopaths, and it all ends in tears, this kind of shit. And I don't think this situation was handled any worse and any better. But this show shows you how much the system fucked the victims. The victims aren't coming back, and Dahmer's in the ground. But nothing, this show covers all, I was sitting at myself and looking at my brother going, what the fuck, why would they let him, because there's police officers in this show who let this 14-year-old boy who looks 14, and they say, oh, he looked a bit older than 14. Are you fucking retarded? There's actually a lot of dumbasses in this show. Joyce, the mother, she's a fucking psychopath. The father, I like the father. I think the guy who played the father did a great job. But Joyce was a psychopath. I didn't like her. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I felt sorry for Jeffrey in a lot of aspects. I don't necessarily think what he did was... No, hey, don't get me wrong. What he did was absolutely horrific, and you do not want to see anyone get killed or eaten or just, you don't want any part of that. But where they go into his backstory, you feel really sorry for him, because his parents, he had a really shit childhood, and this show dives into that. The best episode is episode 6, by far. The best episode. That's the best episode. The one with Tony Hughes, which, out of all of his victims, I felt more sorry for Tony. I don't know if that's evil for me to say, but I felt sorry for all of them. And I just want to say to all the victims' families and all that, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. It's shit. It's indescribable what Jeffrey did, and he's a piece of shit. This show covered that, but this show covered also a lot of other things I didn't know about Jeffrey that was very interesting, yet sickly interesting. I felt sorry for a lot of his victims. I felt sorry for all his victims, every single one of them. I felt sorry for the black chick, Glinda, as her name is. I shouldn't say black, but that dark chick who lives next door to him, the next door neighbor. I felt sorry for her. To listen to all that noise and the smell and all that. It's disgusting. Another thing I noticed was this show showed no deaths. The only death they showed was Jeffrey's, which was brutal, by the way. It was fucking brutal. A lot of people that hate Jeffrey would probably be cheering it. If they watched the show, they'd be cheering at that moment. But I was just like, oh, God. I wasn't really cheering. Hey, he's a piece of shit. He got what he deserved. But the way he was getting beaten in the head was just fucking brutal. But then again, he did a lot of disgusting and despicable stuff to these innocent people as well. So karma's a bitch, isn't it? But yeah, Evan Peters did a great job. I think everybody in the show did a great job. I felt so sorry for the parents and everything that they had to go through. The parents of the victims and the parents of Jeffrey, because it's not easy to be the father or the mother of a serial killer. Shit, if I raised a kid like that, I would be so embarrassed and I'd just cry myself to sleep. Because that's just... You could see it on the dad's face. I didn't raise you to be like this. And I'm just like, yeah. He's just sick. He's a fucking psychopath. He's a sick prick. It's not necessarily the parents' fault. Jeff was always like this. He always had a mental disorder, and he always had an obsession with skulls and fucking shit like that, like Ed Gein kind of. And that's what it reminded me of, Ed Gein. And they mentioned that in the series. Another thing I love about the series, they mentioned serial killers. What's his name? The clown man, Gacy, William Gacy. Fuck, I can't remember his name. Gacy something. I don't know. The clown maniac who went out, killed people. Yeah, he was in this. I gotta give the Jeffrey this, even though he's a piece of shit. What Gacy said in this show was worse. You should have heard what he said to the victims. He's like, suck my asshole, or suck my dick, or whatever it is. At least Jeffrey apologized for what he did. It doesn't change what he did. But at least he stood up as a man and said, you know what, I am sorry. And I'm trying to change. But that's not going to work, mate. You've already made up your mind. You've already done these terrible things. Your past is going to come back to haunt you. And that's what it did in the end for Jeffrey. So... But man, they did a great job with this series. He was scary, creepy, and just plain evil. I don't really know who's worse, Ted Bundy or Jeffrey, because I know really nothing about Jeffrey as much as I do about Bundy. But Bundy was he was a loon, you know. Bundy was a loon. Jeffrey was a loon. Gacy was a loon. They're all loons, so they're all they're all terrible people, you know. They're assholes in the world. We get a lot of them these days. But anyway, I just wanted to do a review on this. I definitely recommend you guys watching Dahmer. It's unsettling, it's scary, but it's worth it. If you want to watch if you're into that like kind of interesting serial killer type of shit, you're gonna love this show. This show does a great job of and I think to the directors and actors and everyone who was involved in this show did such a great job. It was also really just fucked up the way the police and everything was handled, and you could tell that there was no justice done, and you could tell there was a lot of racial shit going on in this series. Sorry, like for 10 episodes, it feels like a fucking 8-hour long movie. Trust me. It does not feel like it's television series. It feels like a documentary movie about Jeffrey Dahmer. But anyway, this is definitely worth watching. So I'm gonna give this 100 out of 10. I loved it. I'm gonna have trouble sleeping tonight, but anyway, I hope you guys watch it. It's definitely worth watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.